Good morning, dear friends. Welcome. Today we are going to start the fresh batch of General Studies pre-cum mains, and we will begin with the segment Indian Constitution and Polity, which is one of the most important segments and which is just give me 10 seconds so that I could see. Yeah, I think my voice is audible to you. And today we will start with the new segment, that is Indian Constitution and Polity, which forms the second part of General Studies paper, which forms the major portion of General Studies paper 2, and in general we can say Civil Services Mains Examination paper 3. So I hope and I trust that this Indian Constitution and Polity portion will help you, will enlighten you to understand Indian Constitution and Polity in most in-depth way, yet in most simplistic way. So give me just 10 seconds so that I could see your comments and so that I could see that whether everything is clear or not. So many comments, many persons saying, so I am very excited. Yes, Rajesh, good morning to everybody. प्रणाम, देन खुश रहो सब कोई. डॉक्टर साहब को उत्तराखंड की पावन भूमि से सादर प्रणाम. मानस, my blessings are always with you. Good morning, everything is fine. And let me see, today's lecture is telecasted on YouTube also. So here also there are many comments. So I individually cannot respond to all the comments with your names, but I am looking at the comments. And from my side, good morning to all, best wishes to all, and blessings to all. So now, let us start with the topic from Mumbai. I am very excited. Yes, I am also very excited for this English medium batch and hope that this will really give you a clear and very integrated but very simple understanding of Indian Constitution and Polity. But I always say that words are not enough. What I speak here, many have already spoken, and whoever comes on this platform, he says that I am the best. But actually words are not enough. What I actually make you feel, that is going to be more important. Just continue with these classes and you will have a different way to understand Indian Constitution and Polity. So today is the first lecture. Now I have switched off the comments. So for 10, 15, 20 minutes, I shall not be responding to your comments, how to make notes. Yes, everything I will explain. Everything I will explain in today's lecture. So dear friends, now I have left the comments for 10-15 seconds. So hope you understand that if I have to concentrate here for 10-15-20 minutes, I have to ignore those comments, and after 20 minutes again I will see your comments. So now you also have to concentrate on my lecture so that we could do it in a better way, in a proper way. So in YouTube also I can see a large number of students watching, and here also YouTube students, your comments also 10 seconds. Just let me see. Good morning to everybody. And for 10 seconds here also I am ignoring all the comments. So now I am directly coming to topic. Today is the first lecture of Indian Constitution and Polity, and as we all know, Indian Constitution and Polity forms the major portion of General Studies paper 2. It is relevant at all the levels of civil services exam. Prelims, you have generally 20, 22, 25, 18 questions from Indian Constitution and Polity portion. This time also it was almost 18 to 19 questions, prelims. So there it is one of the decisive factor. At the level of mains, of course, the whole second paper, the major portion of the second paper comes from Indian Constitution and Policy. So mains also, it helps you in scoring good marks. And as far as interview is concerned, there also the constitutional background, the philosophy of the Constitution and current constitutional developments help you to get good marks and to get selection with good rank in UPSC. So this is going to be a very relevant paper. Each of us read Indian Constitution, but very few of us actually understand it. So in today's lecture, I am going to discuss how to prepare Indian Constitution and Polity paper. So today's lecture, I hope, and after this lecture, after 2 hours when I finish this lecture, I hope you will feel that you have got a way, you have got an insight about how to prepare Indian Constitution and polity, or even how to read this paper. So if you see the title of this paper, it is Indian Constitution and polity, and whether it is the syllabus of prelims, whether it is the syllabus of mains, everywhere you will find these two words. Which two words? Constitution and polity. If you see, and you can see the notification of UPSC, or even directly you can visit the UPSC site and you can download the syllabus from there. In prelims also, you will find these two words placed there, constitution and polity. And in mains syllabus also, you will find these two words placed there, Indian Constitution and polity. Generally, most of us, I say most of us, or at least many of us, take these two words synonymously. Today, when you plan to attend this class, then many of you might would have said that today we will take the class of Indian Constitution. And many of you might would have said that today we will take the class of Indian polity. That means this is a general misconception. I am saying misconception, that we take Indian Constitution and polity synonymously. Actually, that is not the case. And if we come to know this difference, that is the difference between Indian Constitution and polity, then actually we will come to know what the syllabus expects from us, what this grand institution UPSC expects from us. So first let us start with differentiating these two words, constitution and polity. Of course, there is academic distinction also. So I will distinguish academically also how great scholars have differentiated, but my main focus would be UPSC syllabus. That if we are given the syllabus Indian Constitution and polity, then what constitutes the constitution portion and what constitutes the polity portion? And if we come to know this difference properly, then hopefully we will understand that what type of questions would be asked in the coming years and what type of questions have been asked and why they have been asked. Sometimes we complained, this question was out of syllabus. Actually, we could not understand the syllabus. In 2018 prelims, I am just taking one example. In 2018 prelims, there was a question, prelims question, objective question. From which article of Indian Constitution the right to marriage with the person of one's own choice comes? From which article of the Constitution the right to marry the person of one's own choice comes? Now, if somebody only has gone through the articles and the Constitution, even if he remembers every article, nowhere in the Constitution this right has been mentioned. Right to marry the person of one's own choice has nowhere mentioned in the Constitution. But question is, prelims, from where this fundamental right comes? Now, in none of the articles this fundamental rights is mentioned. How we can say? Somebody would say that it is beyond Constitution. No, this is the part of polity that we would come to know. Last or 2-3 years ago, there was a question on functions of, role and functions of Human Rights Commission, National Human Rights Commission. In our syllabus, nowhere National Human Rights Commission is mentioned. Then why the question was asked? Because of this word polity. So let us first try to understand the difference between constitution and polity. What is the difference between constitution and polity? And I am saying that once you know this difference, just wait for 30-40 minutes. When I complete, then you will say, oh, this thing was lacking in our preparation. This is the right way to prepare Indian Constitution and polity. Now, if you come to this word constitution and polity, there are two words. So first let us see what is constitution. Constitution can be defined as collection of those rules and provisions on the basis of which a country is governed. If you want to write, then I will dictate also. Just write in one line. What is the definition of constitution? Only in one line. Write on. Constitution is collection of those rules and provisions. Write down one line definition of constitution, because the paper begins with the term constitution. So in interview also they can ask what is constitution. Constitution is a collection of those rules and provisions on the basis of which a country is governed. Constitution is a collection of those rules and provisions on the basis of which a country is governed. So this is what we call constitution. Now let us try to explain it. What actually means? It means, as we saw the definition, constitution is a collection of those rules. It is the aggregate, it is the collection of certain rules, certain provisions on the basis of which a country is ruled or governed. So what does it mean if we are to explain it in 200 words? Always remember that one-liner definition only we can remember, but everything we cannot remember. So we have to understand. So let us see what actually constitution means according to this definition. This definition says that constitution is a collection of those rules and provisions on the basis of which a country is governed. Here the word is ruled or governed. So let us see, if a country is ruled, then what does it mean? It means how the public life is conducted, how the public life is maintained. So rule means something that is related to public life. Public life means something that is common to us. For example, public life will include all those aspects of life which is not personal. Remember, which is not personal, everything that is not personal is public. So something that belongs to me only, what type of dress I wear, what type of food I eat, that is personal. How many hours I sleep, that is personal. Now again, when my dress is not decent and if it is indecent, then it again becomes a matter of public. But for example, which color, the blazer of which color I have worn, whether it is black, whether it is sky blue, whether it is red, till it is not harmful for the society, it is a personal thing. If it is a holiday and I am sleeping for 10 hours and I am not ignoring any of my duties, I am not sleeping on the road, I am sleeping in my home, then it is a personal thing. So constitution generally doesn't deal with personal matters. Constitution is something which deals with public life, that is the concept of rule. Public life means the political life or the politics. Public life means administration. Public life means economy. Public life means education system. Public life means foreign policy. That means constitution is a document which is a collection of those provisions which deal with the public life. For example, if we are to explain this thing, politics, that means who shall be the president of India. This is a public issue and this has to be decided on the basis of the constitution. What shall be the powers of prime minister? What shall be the powers of a bureaucrat? What shall be the process of recruitment? Can't be arbitrary. Similarly, administration, economy. You saw that for GST, goods and services tax, 101st amendment was brought to the Constitution of India. Now GST is a matter of economy, but taxation comes under public life, common. So all those principles of economy, education, foreign policy, these are conducted, these are maintained on the basis of certain rules, certain provisions, and collection of those provisions is called constitution. So constitution is collection of those rules and provisions on the basis of which a country is governed. That means certain rules, certain principles, that is there. Now what are those provisions? Later we will see that is in the form of part, that is in the form of chapter, that is in the form of article, that is in the form of clause, that is in the form of subclause, that is in the form of schedule. All those things we are going to see. So first, according to our syllabus, we are expected to prepare this constitution portion. That means we are expected to go through those articles we are expected, we are supposed to go through those clauses, those sub-clauses, schedules that I am going to discuss further. So first thing we saw that our syllabus says that we have to go through, we have to study constitution. And constitution means a collection of those provisions on the basis of which a country is governed, and constitution deals with public life. So all those provisions we are supposed to discuss. Now let us come, what is polity? After constitution, let us see what is polity and how polity is different. So if you want to note the definition of polity in one line, just note, polity is the applied form of constitution. Write down, polity is the applied form of constitution, and primarily it deals with three things. Just write down, polity is the applied, just give me 30 minutes and I will make you everything clear that how you should prepare this paper. Just wait, I am just making the background for that. Therefore, I am dictating this definition. Polity is the applied form of constitution, and it primarily deals with three things. First, laws enacted by the parliament. Write down, first is laws enacted by the parliament. Second, rulings of judiciary or the decisions of judiciary, rulings of judiciary. And third, extra constitutional bodies and institutions. Everything will be explained, but note down, what is polity? Polity is the applied form of constitution, and it primarily deals with three things: laws enacted by the parliament, rulings of judiciary, and extra constitutional bodies and institutions. Now let us come to practically understand what is polity, and then it will enlighten us that under constitution what I am supposed to study as a student, and under polity portion what I am supposed to study as a student, and how I have to correlate this constitution and polity, and how I have to prepare this general studies paper 2, the title of which is not only constitution, but the title of which is Indian Constitution and Polity. So first you saw what is constitution. Constitution is a collection of those provisions on the basis of which a country is governed. Later we saw, you noted down, what is polity. Polity is the applied form of constitution. That means constitution is a theoretical document. It is a policy document. Constitution basically says what is to be done, what is to be done, how this country is to be governed. Those provisions are called constitution. But when this constitution is actually applied, so when that theory which is called constitution, when that policy document which is called constitution is applied actually in the country, in the state, when it is actually applied, then certain issues, then certain debates emerge, and those form the polity portion. So let us try to understand with example. Article 17, I am taking one example, Article 17. Now Article 17 of our constitution says that untouchability shall be a punishable offence. Let us try to understand how we have to prepare this paper. Untouchability shall be a punishable offence under law. Untouchability shall be a punishable offence under law. This is Article 17. That means this is the Constitution of India, which is saying that untouchability shall be a punishable offence. As a theory, it is very good. There is no problem as far as the theory or as far as the policy is concerned. That means if somebody performs the inhuman act of untouchability, then he shall be punished. So that is Article 17 saying no problem as far as the theory is concerned. But when this Article 17 will be applied, now let us come to application part. This is the policy on the basis of which this country has to be governed. That means anywhere. If untouchability takes place, then the person who commits that crime has to be punished. This is the policy, this is the theory. Now let us take the practical aspect. Now let us enter into the polity aspect. When we come across such issue that untouchability shall be a punishable offence, that means if somebody commits this untouchability, he or she must be punished. But Constitution, Article 17, which is Constitution, doesn't mention what type of punishment shall be awarded to that person. Now you see, there are various forms, there are various types of punishment. One is economic fine, that is also a type of punishment when you jump red light. Not jumping on the red light, but when you cross the red light, that is called jump the red light. You are fined by the traffic police. That is also one form of punishment. Similarly, another form of punishment is imprisonment. Put behind the bars, you are put into jail. That is also one form of punishment. And there is another form of punishment, death penalty, hang till death. That means economic fine is also a punishment. Imprisonment may be simple or rigorous, that is also a punishment. And life sentence or death punishment, that is also a punishment. Now there are different forms of punishment, and if somebody commits the heinous act of untouchability, then of course the person needs to be punished according to Article 17. But here practically the question will arise, what punishment are you going to award to that person? Will you impose a fine? Will it be economic in nature for untouchability? Or will you put that person behind bars? Will you put that person into jail? If you put that person in imprisonment, then for how many years? Will it be life imprisonment? Will it be 10 years? Or even will you award death penalty to that person? So here the Constitution is silent, because Constitution cannot reveal each and everything. Each and every matter which practically will arise, it cannot deal with. And without this practical, without answering these questions at the level of application, you actually cannot apply Article 17. For example, if you do not answer this question, that what type of punishment, then to person A, the judge will say fine of 100 rupees. But to a person B, the judge will say 1 year imprisonment, and to a person C, the judge will say 10 years imprisonment, and some other judge will say death penalty. Practically this will not be a proper way to deal with public life, and therefore here we need some explanation, and therefore first explanation may come from Parliament. And let us see, our Parliament has enacted Untouchability Abolition Act. Untouchability Abolition Act 1955. This is now called Civil Rights Protection Act. So now it has been renamed. Now it has been renamed as Civil Rights Protection Act. See, everything is fine. Yes, good morning, good morning. Then I looked into the comments. Yes, everything is going well. So focus here. This is very, very important. This will give you, after 2 hours, you will really feel a difference within yourself, that how you were preparing polity and how you should prepare according to UPSC syllabus. So let us come. So here we were dealing with the issue Article 17. So this Article 17 only says that untouchability shall be a punishable offence. That is fine in theory. But practically speaking, if somebody is blamed, somebody is accused of committing the heinous act of untouchability, and it is proven in the law court that the person has committed the crime of untouchability, then what type of punishment he shall be awarded? Article 17, the theory doesn't answer this. The constitution doesn't answer this. And therefore, without this answer, you cannot apply this Article 17 as we saw. So here, first of all, the role of Parliament comes. And Parliament has enacted Untouchability Abolition Act 1955. And that act has been renamed in 1976 as Civil Rights Protection Act. So this act we are going to discuss in detail. Just here I am giving you the example. So don't bother that you are first time listening, everything will be made clear to you. Just I am saying that how I am planning to teach and what should be the right way to prepare this Indian Constitution and Polity paper. What is Constitution and what is Polity difference. So this law of Parliament, that means Untouchability Abolition Act, passed in 1955 and which was renamed as Civil Rights Protection Act in 1976. So same act, renamed. This act clearly prescribes, clearly provides what type of punishment shall be awarded if somebody commits the crime of untouchability. So this act provides what type of punishment shall be awarded if a person commits the crime of untouchability. And this act of Parliament is polity. So remember, what is Constitution? Those collection of those provisions. Remember the definition, Constitution, this type. Yeah, Constitution. Collection of those provisions on the basis of which a country is governed is called Constitution. So Article 17 is Constitution. And what is polity? The application of Constitution is called polity, and which mainly has three components. There are three components of polity. So first, laws of Parliament. Not all laws, but those laws which are somehow explaining or elaborating some provision of the Constitution. For example, this Untouchability Abolition Act, or now it is called Civil Rights Protection Act. That means now let us come to the practical domain as a student, how I should prepare this paper. So first thing that I have to take care at this moment, that I am not supposed to deal with the Constitution only. I am supposed as a student to deal with Constitution and polity. That means if I mug up this Article 17, if I remember each and every article of this Constitution, then it is only 50% of the preparation, 50% of the syllabus. I must go through this parliamentary law also. I must go through the provisions of Untouchability Abolition Act 1955 also. Similarly, another act which is related to this Article 17 in some ways, Prevention of Atrocities on Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Tribe Act 1989. If you remember, this was well in news 2-3 years ago. Remember when the Supreme Court bench headed by Chief Justice Deepak Misra had invalidated some of the provisions of this act. Then there was a Bharat Bandh and hue and cry, and then later on the Parliament has amended the act in such a way that the ruling of judiciary itself was changed. So that was that. Now this Prevention of Atrocities on Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Tribe Act, this also deals with that aspect. That means as a student, if I only go through Article 17, then my preparation is half, my preparation is incomplete. UPSC expects that I must go through these two acts also. Which two acts? Untouchability Abolition Act and Prevention of Atrocities on Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Tribes Act. Here also, this act was well in use. So there is chances that questions will be asked from this act. That means first thing that I must take care of when I am preparing Indian Constitution and polity I am saying as a student, that whenever I go through an article, I must try to find out, is there any law? Are there some laws of Parliament which are related to this article of the Constitution? And if there are some laws, then I must go through those laws also. Particularly when a parliamentary law has been in use for any region in last 2, 3, 4 years, then I should put more emphasis on that. That means on this law we must put. Now then our preparation will be holistic. So first thing that we saw in polity, that polity is the applied form of constitution. And first component of polity is laws of parliament. That's means practically speaking, when I am preparing for civil services, whether UPSC or state services, anywhere, and this lecture is going to cover the whole polity, UPSC, state, barring the particular state issues, but generally all the national issues, and this will be the way of teaching. That means whenever I will be discussing with you, and these are not only words. After teaching lakhs of students, I can claim that within 3-4, just wait for 4 days. Within 4 days, you will find the difference. You will find that you were not studying, you were not understanding this paper in the right direction. So our way of teaching will be that we will go through the article and simultaneously, some people will say that, oh, first let us understand the articles, then act. Then how can we correlate? No. Simultaneously, together, we will be discussing the important laws of parliament also, which are related to that article. Then one portion of polity shall be covered. So what we saw, that first portion of polity is parliamentary laws. And whenever we are preparing this paper, we must not only focus on this constitution portion, we must focus on the polity portion also. And here comes the role of current. So current affairs is an integral part of our syllabus, and it is not out of syllabus, because UPSC doesn't mention the word only polity. It mentions the word, doesn't mention only the word constitution. It mentions the word polity also. So this is first thing. What we have to cover under polity, or what is the difference between constitution and polity? This is first aspect. That constitution is a theoretical document which says how the country is to be governed, and polity is its application. And therefore, first of all, polity covers the laws of parliament, which are enacted to explain some of the provisions of the constitution. Now let us see what is the second part of polity, but before that, just me see in 5-10 seconds whether everything is going well or not. This is the class of Indian constitution and polity. ये political science नहीं है. This is not the class of optional. This is the class of general studies, Indian constitution and polity, paper 2. And in today's lecture, I am going to explain, मैं आपको ये बताने जा रहा हूं कि हमें कैसे पढ़ना चाहिए, how we are supposed to discuss this paper, how we are supposed to prepare this paper in Indian constitution and polity portion, or how we can understand the difference between Indian constitution and polity. So this, I think, good morning and other things. So this is the crux, and here also let me give 10 seconds only so that I could see your comments. All good, everything is fine, everything going well. Yes, then I think a real world doesn't work. Yes. So atrocity against scheduled caste, that we will discuss later on. So I saw the comments, everything is going well. That means don't worry, what is this act? Do remember that this is the first lecture. I am not teaching the constitution, I am only today teaching you how to prepare this paper. That means I am committing, I am promising that in the coming days, when I will start teaching you, then I will not only teach you Article 17. Along with that, I will teach you Untouchability Abolition Act also, all the provisions also. I will teach you Prevention of Atrocities on Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Tribe Act 1989. Why? What amendments took place in 2015? What was the ruling of judiciary? Why there was a hue and cry? To what extent it is just everything. But not today. Today I am just indicating how we have to prepare this paper. So first thing, in a nutshell, from the perspective of a student, I can say that today I must say that Indian constitution and polity. Indian constitution and polity means I have to go through constitution and I have to go through polity, and in polity I have to go through the laws of parliament. Then what else constitutes polity? The second thing that constitutes policy is rulings of judiciary. And this will also give you a clear picture how as a student I have to prepare this paper, rulings of judiciary. Rulings of judiciary, let us see what is this. Rulings of judiciary. Again take one example, we have one article. Just take article 19 in our constitution. In our constitution we have one article 19. Now 19 has many clauses. So among these clauses there is a clause 19 clause 1 subclause A which talks of freedom of thought and expression. So this is article 19, freedom of thought and expression. And the constitution mentions no citizen shall be denied freedom of thought and expression. That means everybody shall have freedom of thought and expression in this country with certain limitations imposed. So this is constitution, this is very fine. But the latest event if you see, when article 370 was modified, I am saying modified, remember, many would have told you that article 370 has been abrogated. It has been repealed. It has been removed from the constitution, that is half truth. Still article 370 exists in this constitution. Remember, still we have article 370, but it has been modified in such a way. It has been modified in such a way that the special status given to J and K does not exist. So that is the beauty of this. But article 370 still exists. It was a very lengthy article, now it is a very short article which says that all the provisions of the constitution shall be applicable to J and K. But anyway, that is different thing. When article 370 was modified, I am using the word modified. I am not using the word abrogated or repealed. मैं ये नहीं कह रहा हूं कि 370 खत्म हो गया जैसा सब लोग कहते हैं, अखबारों में जैसा लिखा जाता है. 370 खत्म नहीं हुआ है. Remember, 370 has been modified. इसको परिवर्धित किया. So article 370 has been modified, and the special status of J and K does not exist now. You know all those things, and I will be taking a very elaborate lecture on that. But anyway, that is a different thing that comes later when the class goes on. But here the important thing lies here that article 370, when it was modified, or in layman's word, when the special status given to the state of J and K was taken, and it was made like any other Indian state, then you know that there was some protest in J and K, and to suppress those, internet and other things were suspended for few months. I am saying few months. And then Ghulam Nabi Azad, the leader of Congress, and others filed a case in the Supreme Court of India. And in the case of Ghulam Nabi Azad and others versus the Union of India, all this I will be discussing later. Here just I am citing the example. So in the case of Ghulam Nabi Azad, Supreme Court ruled that right to internet is a fundamental right. Remember, this is the latest. Right to internet is a fundamental right. Now, if somebody only goes to the provisions of Constitution, then he will nowhere find in our Constitution the word right to internet as a fundamental right. Nowhere you will find, still you will not find. But practically speaking, this is a fundamental right now in India. After 2019, when the ruling in Ghulam Nabi Azad case came, internet is a fundamental right. How it is a fundamental right? It is a fundamental right under Article 19 Clause 1 Subclause A, and it is a fundamental right also under 19 Clause 1 Subclause G. What are these things that we will discuss later? I am saying that I will discuss later. Today only we are trying to understand what actually we are supposed to discuss in polity, how we have to prepare this paper. That means now this is Constitution. This Article 19 Clause 1 Subclause A is Constitution, freedom of thought and expression. But the issues like freedom of press. That is also a fundamental right. Indian Express newspaper case, 1985. And extension of that is right to internet is a fundamental right. So all this forms the part of polity. And therefore, if I actually want to prepare this paper from the perspective of UPSC, or if I want to fulfill the needs or requirements of UPSC and state PCS exams, then if I only mug up this, that article 19 clause 1 subclause A, freedom of thought and expression, then only it is the half of the syllabus. Rest half is freedom of press. Freedom of press is a fundamental right. Why freedom of press is a fundamental right in India? What is the importance of press in Indian democracy? Why press is called the fourth pillar of democracy? All these questions have been asked. And latest would be, why internet is a fundamental right? What are the arguments? What are the limitations on this right? That means I am supposed to discuss all those issues. That means whenever I am preparing Article 19, I must not leave it here. I must go beyond this also. And I must first know what is the difference between thought and what is the difference between expression, thought and expression. This is constitution. But after that, I must know why freedom of press is a fundamental right. What are the reasons? Why internet is a fundamental right? On the basis of which article it is a fundamental right? And if I do not cover this portion, then I do not cover the polity portion. So what is the second? What is the second aspect of polity? Rulings of judiciary. So now let us again come to that difference. What is the difference between constitution and polity? Constitution, collection of those provisions on the basis of which a country is governed. And polity is the applied form of constitution, which first of all covers the important laws of parliament. Second, it covers the important rulings of parliament. For example, latest in Shakti Vahini case, it was ruled by the Supreme Court that right to marry the person of one's own choice is an extension of right to life mentioned under Article 21. That means that ruling in Shakti Vahini case must be studied, must be prepared from exam perspective. Hope you are getting how we are to prepare. So if you only mug up the constitution, each and every article, you are only going through 50%. Rest 50% is polity. And our preparation should be dynamic. Here comes the role of current events. And believe me, have faith in me. Having taught more than 1 lakh students, I am not quoting the illusionary figure. Actually, this is the case. So I know how this paper is to be dealt. So we will go through purely this perspective. That means whenever I am discussing with you an article, I will first of all try to find out, is there any important law of parliament? So together with that article, we will discuss that law also. After that, I will try to find out, is there any important ruling of the judiciary? And if there is a current ruling, that is very essential. Then I will go through each and every aspect of that. Then we will be discussing this Indian constitution and polity in totality, in connection. Here comes the role of current. So don't go on static mugging of constitution is not going to help you in civil services exam. Yes, it will help you in SSC and other exams. But if you are planning to crack civil services exam, which is considered to be the mother of all examinations, then of course you have to adopt a different strategy. So now let us again come to what is the difference between constitution and polity. So first thing, again let me summarize till here. Constitution is a collection of those provisions on the basis of which a country is governed. And polity is the applied form of constitution. And polity constitutes of 3 things primarily. First, laws of parliament. So as a student, when we are preparing the constitution, we must see whether there is any law and we must go through those. And if there, for example, CAA, Citizenship Amendment Act. That means if somebody has only prepared Part 2 Citizenship Article 5 to 11, those articles which deal with citizenship, then this is not sufficient. He must go through Citizenship Act 1955 and particularly the latest 2019 amendment that has been made into the Citizenship Act 1955, that is called CAA 2019. तो Citizenship Act हमारे पास पहले से था. That has been amended many times, and latest amendment was 2019. So this 2019 amendment is the polity part. And if you only go through the constitution, then you will not be able to crack this exam. So first thing is laws of parliament. And we will actually conduct our class in this way. For myself, I am taking a very important challenge, because in the coming classes you will ask me. That's you had promised that this will not be only the class of constitution, this will be the class of polity. Of course, this will be the class of polity also. And therefore, once we complete this portion, and this I would like to hear from you after 50 classes when we complete this paper. And you will definitely, I have faith, because from my experience, you will definitely say, oh, now we have actually known what is constitution, and now we have understood this paper in totality. This you will tell, and I have faith. And I will ask you in the last class that in the first class what I had promised, did I fulfill it? Surely you will say yes, you fulfilled it. So I will also go through all the important rulings, and in this way we will covering most of the important current issues also, which are basically related to constitution. So what is the second thing in polity? Rulings of judiciary. Now let us see the third component of polity. I told you there are three important components. So third component is extra constitutional bodies and institutions. Now here we need to understand certain terms which are very, very important. If you see the syllabus of UPSC Indian Constitution and Polity, so I think 9th topic, paper 2 का 9th topic जो है, that mentions certain terms: constitutional bodies, statutory bodies, executive bodies. So even we do not understand this term, what is a statutory body? And when the questions on human rights, National Human Rights Commissions come, we say nowhere mentioned in the constitution. Of course, nowhere mentioned in the syllabus directly, but as a polity part you are supposed to discuss. So let us understand the third part of polity is this extra constitutional bodies. So for this, we must first understand different forms of institutions. In India, there are different forms of institutions. So एक चार्ट बना हुआ है, इसको आप देखिए, and then institutions in India are of three types: constitutional, unconstitutional, and extra constitutional. And this extra constitutional again is of two types: statutory and executive. Let us see again. In India, institutions are of three types. Institutions can be categorized, classified into three categories. What are those? First, write down constitutional bodies or constitutional institutions. Second is unconstitutional institutions. Unconstitutional, I am saying. And third is extra constitutional bodies or extra constitutional institutions. So constitutional bodies, unconstitutional bodies, and extra constitutional bodies. And extra constitutional body again is of two types. This extra constitutional is again of two types: statutory body and executive body. So let us understand all this, and then let us see what forms here constitution and what forms here polity regarding this. So just give me 5 seconds so that I could remove it. Now let us see the difference between these bodies. So first is constitutional. Constitutional bodies are those bodies, those institutions which has its root in the Constitution of India. So those bodies, those institutions which are mentioned, just give me 10 minutes, after that I will see the comments. But ये कर लेते हैं. Constitutional bodies are those bodies which have its roots in the Constitution, that means which emanate, which flows, which are created by the Constitution itself. For example, Election Commission of India, and that is created by Article 324. 324. That means Election Commission of India is a constitutional body. Why? Because it comes from Constitution, directly from Constitution. How many members, whatever, everything from Constitution. Similarly, Finance Commission of India, mentioned in Article 280. Constitutional body. Why? Because comes from Article 280. Similarly, National Commission for Scheduled Caste, a constitutional body. Why? Because mentioned in Article 338. Don't worry, I will be explaining each and every institution in detail later on. Today just I am citing it as example, only as examples. Similarly, National Commission for Scheduled Tribe, Article 338A, constitutional body. National Commission for Backward Classes, 338B, constitutional body. So I hope you got the first thing, and don't worry for these terms, those who are new. And remember, I will start from zero. So those who have never studied polity, no need to worry and panic from today's class that what big words this teacher is using and I don't know. So each and everything I will be explaining today, just I am citing the example. There are certain bodies like Election Commission, Finance Commission, Scheduled National Commission for Scheduled Caste, Scheduled Tribe, Backward, all these are constitutional bodies. So what is a constitutional body? Constitutional body constitute those institutions which flows from constitution. So Election Commission is a constitutional body, Finance Commission is a constitutional body, National Commission, all these are. Now let us see what are unconstitutional. Unconstitutional bodies are those institutions which are against the norms and provisions of our constitution, and constitution doesn't permit them to exist. Constitution never permits, but practically still they exist in this country. For example, ULFA, United Liberation Front of Assam, against the ethos of constitution, violence, extremism, or Naxals. So constitution doesn't permit Naxalism, but all those organizations of Naxals, they practically exist in this country. SIMI, Student Islamic Movement of India, Babbar Khalsa. So there are bodies which are terrorist bodies, which are extremist bodies, which are against the ethos of this constitution, and constitution does not permit them to exist, but still they exist practically. This is the truth. And those bodies are called unconstitutional bodies. And sometimes the question may be asked here, आप ये मत सोचना कि ULFA has not been mentioned in the constitution, so we should not. If ULFA is somewhere in news, then of course you will have a question that will form a polity part. So constitutional bodies, those institutions which directly flows from constitution, Election Commission, these unconstitutional, which are not sanctioned, which are not permitted by the constitution, which are against the ethos of the constitution, still they exist, and they are called unconstitutional body. Then third is extra constitutional bodies. So let us see what is extra constitutional bodies and how it is different from constitutional and unconstitutional, and what are its examples. But before that, just me check whether if there are. What is Magap? Magap means just remember. That means you just remember it and you don't understand it properly. So understanding is good. Yes, there. Just give me 10 seconds so that I could see all the comments. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning all. That here I saw the comments, and let me see here also if there are any doubts or comments. Everything is fine, good, integrated study, share the syllabus. Yes, everything I will say. Today only I am introducing. Good morning. Can we have the PDF of it? Yes, I will try to give you PDF, books, everything I will give you. Everything, just wait. Today's lecture is basically the introductory lecture. So, of course, the name of books, everything will be given to you. But first let me understand how we have to prepare, let me explain how we have to prepare this paper. So here comes constitutional, unconstitutional, now comes the extra constitutional body. So let us see what is extra constitutional body. Extra constitutional bodies are those institutions which are not mentioned in the constitution. So constitution doesn't have the mention of them, but they are not against the ideals of constitution. They are not mentioned in the constitution, but at the same time they are not against the ideals and ethos of the constitution. So let us see the example. For example, National Human Rights Commission. National Human Rights Commission. So our constitution in none of the articles mention this institution. So our constitution mentions finance commission and election commission, but nowhere our constitution has the reference of National Human Rights Commission. So therefore it is not a constitutional body, doesn't flow from constitution, but same time it is not unconstitutional also. National Human Rights Commission is not against the ethos of constitution. Rather it is according to the ideals of the constitution. So it is neither constitutional nor unconstitutional, therefore it is extra constitutional. So extra constitutional bodies are those institutions which are not mentioned in the constitution, but at the same time they are pro constitution and they are not against constitution, like NHRC. Similarly, we today hear about Niti Aayog. So in our constitution nowhere we have any article which talks about Niti Aayog. We have an article which deals with election commission. We have the article which deals with National Commission for Scheduled Caste. But we do not have in our constitution any article which deals with Niti Aayog. We do not have any institution which deals with Niti Aayog. Still we know that Niti Aayog is not against the ethos of this constitution. It is pro-constitution. Then what type of body this Niti Aayog is? Extra constitutional. Now we saw three words. Remember, these terms will help you to understand your syllabus also. When I will share the syllabus, then you will find these words. So constitutional, unconstitutional, extra constitutional, three terms we saw. Constitutional, which flows from the constitution. Unconstitutional, nowhere mentioned in the constitution and against the ethos of constitution, ideals of constitution, and extra constitutional. Something that is not mentioned in the constitution, but it fulfills the ideals of constitution. So NHRC and Niti Aayog. Now this third category, extra constitutional body, has further been classified, has further been divided into two types. This extra constitutional has further been divided into two types. What are these two types? Statutory and executive. That means statutory is also extra constitutional, one form of that, and executive is also extra constitutional, one form of that. So let us see what is the difference. If an institution is not mentioned in the constitution, then from where it comes? Well, election commission, we can say that it comes from constitution. But then from where NHRC comes? What is the source? From where that Niti Aayog comes? What is the source? That means on the basis of creation, extra constitutional bodies are of two types, statutory and executive. Statutory institutions are those which have been created by an act, and that is also called statute of legislature, or layman's word, parliament. So if a body is created by an act of parliament, and that is legislature, and act is also called statute. So if a body, if an institution has been created by an act of legislature, by a statute of legislature, then it is called statutory body. For example, NHRC, National Human Rights Commission, is extra constitutional, and within that extra constitutional it is statutory. Why? Because the Parliament of India passed National Human Rights Commission Act 1993. Again, this all we will be discussing. National Human Rights Act, NHRC Act 1993, and that NHRC Act, which is basically a statute, that statute, that law, that act provides for NHRC. So NHRC is extra constitutional, not mentioned in the constitution, and it is statutory. So one form of extra constitutional is statutory. Then second is executive. Those institutions, those organizations, those bodies which have been created which have been created by an executive order. Those institutions, bodies, which have been created by an executive order. So they also do not have their source in the constitution, but they are called executive institutions. Now what is meant by an executive order? कार्यकारी आदेश किसे कहते हैं? What is meant by an executive order? So executive order means by the order of president on the aid and advice of the council of ministers. So certain institutions are created by the order of president, and in the state it is created by the governor. So by the order of executive, that means president or governor on the advice of the council of ministers. That is called executive institution. For example, Niti Aayog. Niti Aayog nowhere has its reference in the constitution, so not a constitutional body. Niti Aayog nowhere is not against the ethos of constitution. It is pro-constitution, so it is not an unconstitutional. So of course it is extra-constitutional. Out of extra-constitutional, it has not been created by an statute of parliament. By a law of parliament also it has not been created. Then from where it has been created? By the order of president. That is called by an executive order. And therefore, Niti Aayog is an executive institution. Now, I hope you have got this picture, the types of institution. This is already mentioned in the syllabus, and go and ask today to any of your friend who is actually preparing for UPSC, what is the difference between a statutory body and executive body. All these words are mentioned in your syllabus. But 50% or more than 50% even won't be able to answer what is statutory body. Go and apply this today. What I am saying, don't try to criticize somebody, don't try to put somebody low, किसी को नीचा नहीं दिखाना, but to test your own knowledge. Go and ask today after this class, what is the difference between statutory body and executive body, and let us see how many can answer this technical thing. Or let us ask this whole chart. What is constitutional, what is unconstitutional, what is extra constitutional, what is statutory, what is executive. And time and again question comes from here. Planning Commission was a dash 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 body. So extra constitutional body. National Human Rights Commission is a constitutional body, unconstitutional, extra constitutional, statutory. So time and again this question comes. Niti Aayog question has been asked, which type of body is this? So it is executive body, and within that executive body it is extra constitutional body. So now let us again come to that topic, constitution and polity. Constitution and polity difference. So constitution, the theory on the basis of which the country is governed. Polity, the application of constitution. Polity covers three things. First, laws of parliament. Second, rulings of judiciary. And third, polity also covers extra constitutional bodies, remember, and even to some extent unconstitutional bodies if they are in news. That means you are supposed to discuss this National Commission for Scheduled Caste and constitutional bodies, but at the same times you are supposed to discuss Niti Aayog also. You are supposed to study National Human Rights Commission also, and that is the reason that National Human Rights Commission is not mentioned in the syllabus of UPSC, but there was a question in mains. Scheduled Caste Commission not mentioned in the UPSC, there was a question. Why? Because your syllabus is not Indian Constitution. Your syllabus is Indian Constitution and polity. So today we saw the first thing. What is the difference between Indian Constitution and polity? NGT is again an statutory body. Just wait, I will be explaining everything, because NGT has been created by an act of parliament, and that is NGT Act 2010. Can you repeat statutory body? So a statutory body, that institution, that body which has been created by an act और एन स्टैट्यूट ऑफ पार्लियामेंट, जो संसद के कानून से बनता है, उसको कहते हैं स्टैट्यूटरी बॉडी, लाइक नेशनल ह्यूमन राइट्स कमीशन. सो दैट इज ए स्टैट्यूटरी बॉडी. NGT, of course, it is a statutory body. So later on we will see all those bodies. So today we saw that first thing that we must take care of, and this is the most important thing that we must take care of while we start preparing paper 2 of general studies, that is Indian Constitution and Polity. Since the title of the paper given by UPSC is Indian Constitution and Polity, we have to prepare it as Indian Constitution and Polity, we are not supposed to prepare only Indian Constitution, that is the static thing. We have to be dynamic also. We have to cover all the current issues also. And that makes this paper much interesting. That means most of the issues shall be covered. Remember, homosexuality. Section 377 of IPC, Indian Penal Code. And not the whole 377, but few parts of this were invalidated by the Supreme Court. That will be covered in Article 21. Sabarimala debate. That will be covered under Article 25. Internet as a fundamental right. Press will be covered under Article 19. So there are many, almost all the important current issues will be covered. Prashant Bhushan case, contempt of court, that will be covered under judiciary topic. So most of the issues that you see today's politics somehow will be covered. Then actually we will be able to cover this paper, and I assure you that this will be the way we will cover this paper, and within, I say, 3 to 4 days, you will realize this. Oh, we are not discussing only Constitution, we are discussing Constitution and Polity for 3-4 days. When you will go through the lecture, then you say, oh, this is the different way to discuss this paper. I am accepting a great challenge for me, but I know that I can do this because I have done this time and again. And questions are definitely to be covered from this. Because if you cover such wide spectrum, then of course from where the questions will come, pre-mains interview, everything will be from here. And when we conduct the classes, you will see this. So first thing that we saw today is what is the difference between Constitution and Polity. Now second thing that we take care of when we prepare this paper. So today this is an introductory lecture, so I am only talking of the strategy. So I hope you got the first thing, that what should be the coverage of the syllabus. It should be Constitution and Polity. Yes, everything will be shared, day-wise notes. Of course, I will try that these slides also somehow reach to you. I will try, maybe I will talk to the management. Hopefully, all such supports, that is not a problem here. Now, let us come to discuss second things. Let us come to discuss second thing. First thing was difference between Constitution and Polity, how we should prepare. Second thing is basically our paper is related to this Constitution. Polity is also the application of Constitution. So basically this is a paper of Constitution. And when we come to discuss Constitution, then we have many confusing words. Somehow we come across the word part. Prelims exam, the question would come, fundamental rights have been mentioned. In which part of the Constitution? And we will suddenly take part 3. Very good. Correct, part 3. But that is the bookish thing. But if somebody asks me, yes, I will buy a book of 150 rupees, any objective book in the market, and that will give me this knowledge that fundamental rights have been mentioned in part 3, citizenship in part 2, union and its territory in part 1, directive principle, but whatever. But what is the concept of part? What do you mean by the word part in the Constitution? Then we don't know this. Similarly, we have a word chapter. When we see that center-state administrative relations have been mentioned in part 11, chapter 2. So this objective fact anybody can give me, that it is mentioned center-state relations, administrative relations have been mentioned in part 11, chapter 2. But what is chapter? This we don't know. Similarly, article, clause and subclause, and besides this, we have a word schedule also. We very well know that in the 11th schedule, 29 subjects for Panchayat. What is schedule? So let us try to understand these basic words. And as Francis Bacon has rightly said, common sense is very uncommon. So we know very extraordinary facts, but we do not know ordinary facts. And these ordinary facts, simple facts, ordinary facts make extraordinary difference in the exam. The whole perception will change. So now second thing that today I am going to discuss with you is, Ambika is saying, sir, I like the way of your teaching, very understand. Thank you, Ambika, and just wait for 3-4 days. This is the first lecture. This is the first lecture. And once I actually start discussing the topic, then you will really enjoy what polity is. This is the beginning. But anyway, you are enjoying it. That gives me a sense of satisfaction. So let us try to understand these words, these simplistic words. Cooperative societies are what kind of bodies? Now cooperative societies are constitutional bodies, because under 97th Constitution Amendment, Part 9b has been added. So before this 97th Amendment 2011, it was not, but now it is constitutional. Panchayats are also now constitutional. So that is the thing. Yes, please continue with this. Surely I will continue, and 3-4 days you will know the difference. So now second thing that I have to discuss with you is these very common words, which seems to be common, which we remember कि part 3 में fundamental right है, but what actually part is, what actually schedule is. We often use the word scheduled caste. Just take one example. Let us see the lack of common sense. Every day we use the word scheduled caste. But we all know that in Indian Varna system, in Indian caste system, there is no caste called scheduled caste. There are particular castes, but there is no particular scheduled caste नाम से कोई caste नहीं हुआ है. Why it is called scheduled caste? Schedule, from the word schedule it comes. So once we understand what is a schedule, then only we can understand what is the true meaning of scheduled caste. So tribe, there are many tribes, Munda, Oraon, Kol, those are tribes. But there is nothing like scheduled tribe. Munda to tribe hai, Santhal to tribe hai, but scheduled tribe koi nahi hai. So these words are very important. So I will discuss these words, what is constitution, what is part, what is chapter, etc. Oh, just yeah. So let us start, and this is going to a very interesting thing. So first let us begin with constitution. And constitution I already discussed with you. I already discussed with you what is constitution. And we saw that constitution is a very wide document which covers everything that is related to public life. So constitution has various things like parts, like, so it is a wide document. Now this constitution has been divided into parts. So presently how many parts, etc., that thing we will discuss later, because I don't want to confuse you today with those boring facts. Today I only want to give you the understanding of these simple words. Before this it was very difficult to understand constitution and polity. Thank you. I am impressed. Rasmi is writing. Yes, yes, sure. And just wait, I am saying 4 days. Give me 4 days. Not more than that. And you will understand that how this paper can be understood, and this will be the most interesting paper for you. 4 days. Give me 4 days. This is the first day. So today I am discussing something which is not directly, but when I actually come to the topic, then constitution is the most interesting portion that I believe. It is the most interesting, and I have the record of taking 8 hours class continuously, and students stayed. So that shows that it is not boring. The main thing is how to teach it. Constitution. Now let us come to this. Constitution. Constitution is a wide document. Constitution has been divided into parts to make it more systematic. To make it more systematic and easy to understand, the constitution has been divided into various parts. Let us see what is a part. Now we saw that constitution is something which deals with public life. Collection of those provisions which are related to rule or governance, that is public life. Therefore, any constitution, including the Constitution of India, any constitution including the Constitution of India has various types of provisions. It has fundamental rights, it has citizenship provisions, it has union government, that means central government, it has state government provisions, it has panchayats, directive principles, fundamental duties, various things. Don't get confused. I am saying that whatever I am using today, don't get confused. Everything, each and every topic we will discuss. This is just a reference that our constitution has different things. Now just take one example, fundamental right. Now we have 6 types of fundamental rights, and there are many articles. what would have happened if the founding fathers of constitution would have made it arbitrary? First article of fundamental is on page 1, article 1, for example. It is not like that, but I am saying for example. Then next article of fundamental right is article 20 on page number 10. Then third article is article 70. Fourth article is article 110 and different pages. So if I want to understand what is fundamental right in Indian constitution, then I would have to go page by page, anywhere I can find a fundamental right. So that was not systematic, that was totally unsystematic. Therefore, framers of the constitution, founding fathers, framers of the constitution, to make this constitution a systematic document, they first of all divided this constitution into various parts. All the fundamental rights were assembled, aggregated, collected at one place, and it was named as Part 3 Fundamental Rights. Similarly, all the provisions related to citizenship were put together and it was named as Part 2. All the provisions related to directive principles of state policy were put together, Part 4. Fundamental duties, Part 4A. Union government, Part 5. State government, Part 6. That is the way. So what is part? First subdivision. When that is the first subdivision, that means constitution is first of all divided into parts. So what is part? It is the first subdivision of constitution. Now after parts comes chapter. Chapter. How many parts? Those facts we will be discussing. Forget the facts. Facts to har kitab mein, and I will give you also. Today let us understand what is part, what is chapter, what is schedule. Why scheduled caste? There is no scheduled caste in India. Technically speaking, there are castes, there is no scheduled tribe. If I say there is no scheduled tribe, philosophically it is correct, because Kol, Munda, Oraon, they are tribes. But have you heard any scheduled tribe? But we have. So that we will understand only when we understand what is a schedule, what is a part, what is a chapter. So part we saw that first classification is today just understand what to write in the copy as note. So today just understand, and this way you can write. I will try to provide you slides also. But today basically it is understanding class, and from next class I will dictate each and everything, because dictation is also very important. Unless I dictate, so in the class everything will be clear in mind, but once the class is over everything will be clear from mind. So things should be clear in mind, not clear from mind, and for that dictation is very important. So I will dictate also, but today is just understanding constitution, part and chapter. Now let us see what is chapter. So constitution has many parts. Some parts are very small, and hence they are not further divided into chapters. But some parts are very lengthy, very elaborative, very extensive, and therefore they have further been divided into chapters. Just take example. Part 5. Part 5, the heading is Union Government. Union means central government, Modi government. Layman's word agar kahe to. Union government. So part 5 is union government. So of course union government is one whole entity. Government at union level, central level. But within this union government, we have various subcomponents. It is such a vast, extensive concept. Within that union government, we have president, we have vice president, we have prime minister, we have parliament, we have judiciary. So they all constitute union government, and therefore those parts, not all parts, remember all parts do not have chapters, but those parts which are much extensive. So there may be that union government is part 5, and within that union government chapter 1 may be president and vice president. Chapter 2 may be parliament. Chapter 3 may be something else. Chapter 4 may be something else. So within parts, we have chapters. Remember, within parts we have chapters. So first is Constitution. Constitution has been divided into parts. All parts do not have chapters, but some parts which are very large, they are further divided into chapters. Like part 5 had chapters, part 6 had chapters, part 11 had chapters, part 12 had chapters, part 1 doesn't have any chapter, part 2 doesn't have any chapter. So Constitution, part and chapter. Then comes article. After chapter comes article. After chapter comes the notion of article. So let us see what is article. Again, take one example. Constitution. Then it has part 5 union government. Let us see like this: Constitution, everything. Then comes part, and just take one example, part 5. Then part 5 further is divided into chapter. So let us take chapter 1. And chapter 1, for example, mentions president. Then till here it is very easy. That part, then chapter. So part 5 union government. And within that part 5 union government, we have chapter 1 deals with president. But now president itself looks one entity, but it has many subdivisions. The term president further has many subdivisions. For example, president has the election of president, that is one thing. Impeachment of president, that is different thing. Executive power of president, that is third thing. Similarly, clemency power of president, that is fourth thing. Ordinance making power of president, that is fifth thing. So there are many things related to president itself, and therefore this chapter is further divided into articles. So we will say that Article 55, election of president. Article 56 and 61, impeachment of president. Article 72, clemency powers of president. Article 123, ordinance making power of president. Article 111, don't get confused, each and everything we are going to discuss, just I am citing. A veto power of president, pocket veto and others. So now let us see Constitution, part, chapter, and within that chapter we have article. So if we have to exactly locate, we have to exactly pronounce the where the process of election of president is mentioned, then we will say it is mentioned in the Constitution of India, part 5, chapter 1, article 55. So article 55 itself is correct, but ये हो गया पिन कोड के साथ हम बता रहे कि this district, then that is the correct description. If somebody, for example, asks you, where is Singhu border? Where the Kisan agitation is going on, farmers agitation, is a Sindhu border. So correct. But if somebody is unknown of this, somebody out of Delhi, so Delhite will understand. If somebody is from Tamil Nadu, so where Sindhu border? But once you say Delhi, Haryana, whatever, Sonipat, an exact location, then that is the nice way to explain. So Constitution, then part, then chapter, and then within chapter we have article. So you see till here it goes like this. This is Constitution, then within that there are various parts, then parts, some parts have chapters, and then chapter is further divided into article. Now let us come to further subdivision. Constitution, part, chapter, article, then comes the concept of clause. Then comes the concept of clause. Clause. So Parveen is saying, I like your way of teaching. Thank you, Parveen. And I also like to teach you people. Let me see here also. Dear students, this is YouTube Arpit. This is English medium class. So can't teach in Hindi. Hindi medium batch is also going on, as you know. But this is English medium batch. So of course, English. Shubham, I am your old student then, so nothing to tell you. You know what is the way of teaching, and you will tell others truly if you like or not like. But I know that at the last 5 minutes, elaborate statutory. Shortly, I will elaborate. Let us focus here now. Constitution divided into parts, parts divided into chapter, chapter divided into article, then comes the concept of clause. So let us see what is a clause. What is a clause? Now, part, then chapter, then article. There are some articles which are small. There are some articles which are small. So they do not have clause. But there are some articles which are very extensive. There are some articles which are very extensive. And those articles are further divided into subsections. And those subsections are called clause. Schedule. Schedule comes later. Let us see. Schedule bhi aayega. Tarak, schedule will come later. Monu is writing. You are one of the best teacher. Thank you, Monu. You like this? Then. Yeah. Constitution schedule comes later. First understand this series. Constitution we saw. Then part we saw. Then within part we saw chapter. Within chapter we saw article. Now we are discussing clause. So some articles are much extensive. And therefore they have further been divided into subsections. And those subsections are called clauses. For example, just see this. And this is actual example I am taking from the Constitution. This is not my hypothetical example. You will find in the same way in the Constitution. You will find 39 in bracket A, then bracket B, C, D, E and F. And after that you will find this. See. Now what is important here is this. Here also we have 39A. And here also we have 39A. Capital and small doesn't matter. Somewhere you will find here also in capital. And here you always find capital. So capital and small letter doesn't matter. 99% people and many of the books also, barring some scholastic books, D.D. Basu padhenge. So there you will find this difference. I will tell you the name of books also, but first let us understand this. Now here 39 in bracket A, bracket B, bracket C, bracket D, bracket E, bracket F, and without bracket A. How this will be pronounced and how this will be pronounced? 99% of the people will pronounce this as 39A and they will pronounce this also 39A. But if you actually go through the Constitution, this has a different provision. This 39 bracket A says adequate means of livelihood. Livelihood. So all the persons shall be given adequate means of livelihood. But this provision says equal justice for all. And this is actually I am quoting the Constitution. I am not giving here hypothetical example. Now let us see. And this, if you see the UPPCS, Uttar Pradesh Public Service Commission exam paper. So there you have many times this question. For example, now what happens? I pronounce or we pronounce this also 39A and we pronounce this also 39A. That is the problem with us. We pronounce the 39A, 39A. सुनना बहुत सारे लोग बड़े बड़े जो खोल कर बैठ गए अपना दुकान एंड एवरीथिंग यूट्यूब लेक्चर्स एनीवेयर यू जस्ट सी आई एम नॉट नेमिंग समबडी बट एनीवेयर नेक्स्ट टाइम सो दिस इज आल्सो 39A, दिस इज 39A. They pronounce. This is not like that. For example, and let us see UPPCS question. A question comes, equal justice. The provision of equal justice is found in, now there are 4 options, A, B, C and D. A is this. Let us see the 4 options. The actual question kai baar aaya. Equal justice, asking about this. The provision of equal justice is found in, and they will put this option in the beginning so that you are confused. 39 bracket A and last में वो देगा 39 without bracket A. Now since we pronounce this also 39A, this also 39A, so equal justice 39A, correct. We are wrong. We are wrong. So constitution cannot be this much confusion. Actually we are confused. Constitution is not confused. Then how we have to pronounce? We always see if something is in bracket, remember if something is in bracket, within bracket, then it is not an independent article. Listen again, this is VVI, very, very important, and most of the books also confuse you. If something is within bracket, then it is not an article. It is subsection of an article and it is called clause. So if something is in bracket, within bracket, so this shall be pronounced as 39 clause. What shall be the way to pronounce it? 39 clause. Why? Because it is in bracket. This is 39 clause B, 39 clause C, 39 clause D, 39 clause E, 39 clause F. That means all these are nothing but the subsections of 39. Article is 39. So we will pronounce article 39 clause A, article 39 clause B. But something that is not mentioned in the brackets, and actual constitution has like this. किताब ने सबको कर दिया बिना ब्रैकेट में. In books you will find everything in bracket, but in actual constitution everything is not in bracket. And this is not in bracket, so this is pronounced 39A. So this is a clause. This is called, so anything is bracket, you will pronounce it as 39 clause A. That means it is not an independent article. So 39 clause A is adequate means of livelihood. But 39A is equal justice. So here equal justice, if we know 39 clause A, then it is wrong. Equal justice, if we pronounce as 39A, then it is correct. And if we know that, then what is this? This is 39 clause A. So remember the difference between article and clause. Article is the larger entity, clause is a subsection of that. And therefore, after article we write clause, and we write the clause within bracket. So if something is within bracket, then it is a clause. And if something is not within bracket, then it is article. And clause is to be, if something is, clause is to be written within bracket and it is pronounced as clause, so it is 39, article 39 clause A. Article 39 clause B, but this is 39A. So now again let us come to this point. Constitution, then after constitution part, then chapter, then article, then clause, then last thing that we have is subclause. Subclause. So let us see what is this, how this is written and how this is pronounced. 39A, 39A is article, remember, and 39 says equal justice for all. 39A means that it is not part of previous 39. See this. This 39A means this is a different thing. This is from here to here it is article 39. Till F it is article 39. And after F a new article begins, that is 39A. Why? Because it is not in bracket. So all these are the sub parts of 39. But this is not sub part of 39. This has independent identity, that is 39A. Now let us see subclause. Subclause. What does A mean in 39A? That is only to differentiate it from 39. So 39A, then 35, 39B. We have till Z also somewhere. When the article 243 comes to 243 A, B, C, D, till Z we have. So all are independent articles. So A doesn't mean anything. A is just an alphabet. जैसे आप लिखते हैं A, B, C, D. गाड़ी के नंबर जैसे होते हैं. So it is like that. Constitution part, chapter, article, clause. Then comes the last thing here, subclause. After that we will discuss schedule. But इस categorization का ये last है subclause. Now subclause is something. Subclause is something which is the subcategorization of clause. Now let us see, most of the articles do not have clause, but there are some articles which have clause, and most of the clauses are small, but there are some clauses where the clause itself is very much extensive, and therefore Sometimes clause, they are very few in number, they are very few. But there are some clauses. There are some clauses which are themselves very much extensive, and therefore these clauses are further divided into subsections, and those subsections are called subclauses. Just take an example. In the Constitution, you will find something like this also. Now, how to pronounce this? Here we see 19, then within bracket 1, and then second bracket A. So, most of the people will pronounce it as 19(1)A, which is wrong pronunciation. It is not 19(1)A. Always remember, the first bracket is clause and second bracket is subclause. That means we will pronounce it as Article 19, Clause 1, Subclause A. So, what is the correct pronunciation of freedom of thought and expression? It is not article, if somebody says that freedom of thought is mentioned in Article 19(1)A. So, no, and if he writes this 19(1)A, then somebody would read at 191A. There may be confusion. So, it is not like this. Framers of the Constitution were very much clear. We are confused. So, first bracket denotes article. So, first bracket denotes clause. So, 19 is article, this one is clause, and second bracket is subclause. So, freedom of press is mentioned 19, Article 19, Clause 1, Subclause A. That is the correct description of that. That is the correct description of that. So, remember, article, then one bracket is clause, and then second bracket is subclause. So, it goes like this. If this is to be understood, then we will make this. This is Constitution. Then within this, this is part. Then within this, this is chapter. Then within this, this is article. Then within this, this is clause. And then within this, this is subclause. So, one below others. And whenever we writing and whenever we are pronouncing, we must take care of brackets. If it is written like this, then it is 19 Clause 1. If it is written like this, then it is 39A. And if it is written like this, then it is 39 Clause A. And if we develop, this is very small thing, but it bears a great impact. Remember, somebody everywhere is writing in his mains paper like this. So, examiner will understand that he has mugged up everything, रट लिया है सब, but doesn't know that he must write like this. He is describing equal justice, but he is writing this. So, this is wrong. Equal justice 39A, but adequate means of livelihood 39 Clause A. So, in future you must pronounce like this, you must write like this. So, there are some questions. Shekhar is written, why are they not mentioned in Constitution? What statutory bodies are made after passing an act, then why are not mentioned in the article? Okay. Now, let us see. Framing fathers of the Constitution, founding fathers of the Constitution made whatever they thought was relevant. But later on, many things new came in the light. That means later on many new developments took place. So, human rights, you know, the issue was made relevant only after 1948 when UN declaration, and at that time it was not much important. Later on the issue of human rights became very important. And India signed, Government of India signed many of the international treaties, UN treaties, under which it was essential to form an institution. So, therefore, founding fathers at that time it was not a much important issue. Later on it is there. For example, GST. Founding fathers did not have the assumption that someday GST will also be there. So, that is the reason that when later developments come, scheduled caste commission, there was scheduled caste in India, but later on it was given constitutional. So, that is like this. What to write in the point as to what? Today nothing to write, today just understand. What is to be right? I will give a full dictation, just understand. I will give you whatever is relevant, I will dictate. I know that dictation is a very important part in UPSC, because I know when my lecture is delivered, everything is clear in mind. But once you go outside, everything is clear from mind. No, for that you need, right? I will give you dictation, don't worry, I will give dictation of everything. But today, do you have to remember all chapters? No, 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 nothing. You need not remember all. I will point out which are the more important articles. Today just I am conceptualizing the things. So now here we saw Constitution, part, chapter, article, clause and sub clause. Now one thing is left and that is called schedule. So let us see what is schedule. What is a schedule? Let us try to understand what is schedule. So if you want to write down the definition of schedule, you can write, because it is a bit lengthy which needs to be defined. Part, etc., that is to be understood, but schedule, write the definition. Schedule is that provision, schedule is that provision which is, yes, I will give you reference, just give me 5 minutes elaborate reference. Yes, I will give you reference of books also. Probably taught by me, of course, many coaching contact number, so that you can take from management. So write down what is schedule. Schedule is that provision of Constitution which is placed at the end of the Constitution. Schedule is that provision of the Constitution which is placed at the end of the Constitution. And which, yes, 9 to 11 is time for this class, 9 to 11 am. Schedule is that provision of Constitution which is placed at the end of the Constitution and which explains some article or clause, etc. So let us see what actually, let us understand with example. I am taking one example to explain the word schedule. Always remember that understanding is very important. Once you understand, then words are very easier that you will create. Article 1. Let us see what is a schedule actually and why schedules exist. What is the logic? Why founding fathers made schedules in the Constitution? We have Article 1. Article 1 of the Constitution says India, that is Bharat. India, that is Bharat, shall be a union of states. India, that is Bharat, shall be a union of states. This is exact Article 1. Let us see what is Article 1. India, that is Bharat, shall be a union of states. So first thing it is saying that there are two official names of this country. What are the official names? Two names, India and Bharat. If somebody says Hindustan, so in love with India, you can say that. But actually that is not the official name. Therefore, any notification, if it comes in Hindi, then it is Bharat Sarkar, not Hindustan Sarkar. And if it is in English, then it is Government of India, not Government of Hindustan. So according to Article 1, there are two names. India, that is Bharat. Further, shall be a union of states. So here we do not have the word federation. We have the word union that we will explain I will explain to you later when we come to the topic federalism. Here my basic idea is to give you an idea of the word schedule. That is the thing, not union and other things. So what Article 1 says, that the country which is known by the name India or Bharat, that country shall be a union of states. That means the country which we call by the name of India or Bharat. So that country is a collection of, a union of many states. Now this Article 1 needs some explanation. It says that India will be a union of states, that means itself consists of certain states. What are those states? What are the major areas of those states? That means there must be some description of those states. Now this Article 1 needs some description, that which states? our framers of the constitution had two options. First, here they would keep on mentioning that these states are 28 in numbers. After J&K, you know, reconstitution, it is 28. So the state of Assam, these areas, the state of Arunachal, the state of Bihar, this is XYZ. But that would make the first article itself very lengthy. Maybe that first article is extended in 20 pages. So that will be ridiculous. The article 120 pages. No. To make it systematic, the founding fathers will write this. India, that is Bharat, shall be a union of states. Now, if somebody is interested to have the explanation of this article, then he must visit at the end of the constitution. That means where the article ends, from there schedule begins. So he must go at the end, and in the first schedule, he will find all those 28 states, their names, their area, their everything regarding that. That means schedule 1 is the explanation of article 1. So what is schedule? Those provisions of constitution, remember the definition that I have dictated. Those provisions of the constitution which are placed at the end of the constitution and which explain some article or clause. So schedule 1 explains article 1. Similarly, in our constitution we have salaries for different constitutional officials. President is given a salary, vice president, speaker of Lok Sabha, so MPs, judges, CAG, election commissioner. One way was that wherever you have the office of president mentioned in that article, you mention that this will be the salary of president. Vice president may, you can write this will be the salary. So the salary shall be scattered everywhere. But to make it systematic, if I only want to study the salaries of different government officials, then I will have to check each and every page. At any page you can find the salary. So to make it systematic, they will write that president shall be paid a salary. Now explanation will be in the second schedule. The salary of president shall be this. Similarly, vice president shall be paid a salary. वो article में होगा. What shall be the actual salary? Second schedule. So second schedule is basically dealing with the salaries of different officials. Similarly, third schedule deals with the forms of oath. Since different constitutional functionaries have to perform different functions, therefore the format of oath is different for all of them. So if oath is different, then all various forms of oath that is mentioned in part 3. So this is in schedule 3. So that is called schedule. That means some of the article would mention the word scheduled caste. So what are those scheduled castes? So mentioned in schedule 5. So that is called schedule. Schedule is something which is placed at the end of the constitution and which is placed at the end of the constitution, which explains some of the articles of the constitution, that is schedule. So Sandeep is writing, sir, you are very honest in your way of teaching. Thank you, Sandeep. And this is true, that teaching as the dharma. When we will come to secularism, then it is dharma. Kunal is writing, what is union, federation and confederation? I think just wait when the topic comes federalism. But anyway, since you have asked, so just in 2 minutes I would explain, rather here in very short. But the great explanation will come in the topic federalism. So first is confederation. Confederation is nothing but an association of independent countries. Like European Union is a confederation. In a confederation, all the members have right to secede their sovereign countries. So European Union is a confederation, all such, NAFTA is a confederation, SAARC is a confederation. So a group of independent countries are all such, BRICS confederation. So confederation, independent countries. Federation. Federation is within a state, within a country, where union government, that means central government, and state government have equal powers. That is called federation, like America, where union and states are equal in various respects. Then how they are equal, that I will discuss in federalism topic. And then union. Union is a special type of federation where center and state have demarcated area, but central government is more powerful and state government is weaker than the central government. So that is. So Arif, Hindi, this is English medium batch. Hindi medium batch is already going on, but I will try when the lecture comes, then I will dictate the terms in Hindi also. Hindi में भी मैं terms जरूर बता दूंगा. तो इसको संघ परिसंघ और महापरिसंघ कहते हैं. तो anyway, this I discussed today. So here we today discuss some basic things, some basic aspects of our constitution, where we discuss what is constitution, what is polity, what is the difference between these two, how we should read the constitution, that means what is part, what is chapter, etc., and what is schedule. So these things we discussed today, and from tomorrow, just wait for 1 or 2 minutes, from tomorrow we will systematically start the topic. And as I explained to you, that was something, a challenge that I took for me. Name of the book, syllabus. Syllabus, tomorrow I will put the whole syllabus before you. Name of the book first, let me tell you. Now, if you see the books, then truly, honestly speaking, the pattern which I told you, that means constitution and polity, no book is written on that pattern. And if you see the questions, then questions are from constitution as well as from polity, applied aspect also. Question was on right to privacy, mains mein, 2017. There is nothing like right to privacy mentioned directly in the constitution, that is polity portion. So no book is going to cover that. That portion shall be covered only by the notes of Dr. Saab. Dr. Saab, I call myself. I am a political science PhD. I have the experience of teaching 15 years optional and general studies in most of the top rank institutes. Mukherjee Nagar जाओगे तो मेरा नाम से पता चल जाएगा कि my name is Dr. Manjesh Kumar. So name is enough, and if somebody is a resident of Delhi और इधर रहता है तो अपने दोस्त से पूछ लेगा. So 50% से ज़्यादा students तो मेरे से ही पॉलिटी पढ़ते हैं इधर, indifferent. So anyway, tomorrow I will give you a syllabus. Tomorrow we will begin with the systematically syllabus. So none of the books is going to cover that, but so first thing that you give priority is our class notes. And remember, this is a big challenge I am taking. This class notes will be on the same pattern as I discussed, constitution and polity. And every article, and then related to that, right to internet. In August, I think 3-4 महीने की बात कर रहा हूँ, सुप्रीम कोर्ट रूल रिजर्वेशन इज नॉट अ फंडामेंटल राइट. सो इस तरह के लेटेस्ट इशूज दैट ऑल्सो विल बी कवर्ड. नो बुक शैल बी कवरिंग दैट. सो फर्स्ट इज नोट्स, क्लास नोट्स, not printed material. Printed material actually I do not prepare. That is prepared by the institute, my class notes. That will be 100% authentic. And Vikas is writing, I only go through notes only because, and yes, old students are writing that the notes are enough. 2017, I am not boosting it, but I am publicly proclaiming, and you can verify, I am telling it with proof. 2017 का एग्जाम हुआ था. 22 questions were asked from polity in prelims. IAS की बात कर रहा हूं मैं, not of PCS. IAS में 22 questions from polity sections, and all the 22 questions were from my class notes. All the 22. This has only happened once. When all the questions, you will say that you are boosting, फेंक रहे हो. What is the proof? Of course you should ask. Why not? Why not you will ask, what is the proof? कोई भी ऐसा फेंक सकता है? I am giving you the proof. Listen carefully and try to do that. Facebook अभी बहुत बड़ा सोर्स है. Facebook, मंजेश कुमार. Don't send friend request because 5000 लिमिट कई साल पहले पूरा हो गया है. And कितने थाउजेंड पड़े हुए, so now even I do not see, because you know Facebook has a limit, 5000 से ज़्यादा फ्रेंड लिस्ट नहीं हो सकता. So मंजेश कुमार, MANJESH and KUMAR. डॉक्टर मत लगाना हुआ, मंजेश कुमार तो मिल जाएगा पेज, चेहरा मिला लेना, कोई दूसरा मंजेश कुमार में नहीं मिलेगा. मंजेश कुमार. Don't send friend request because I am unable to. I want to accept, but I can't because Facebook का परमिट नहीं करता 5. तो कितने पड़े हुए मुझे पता नहीं. Then what you have to do? पलटते जाना. वो स्क्रॉल करे, it will take half an hour लगेगा. Do something. Check what I am saying. If it is wrong, then tell me tomorrow. Then you will find my that post. जब 22 by 22 आ गया in the exam, I am not boosting. इसका proof दे रहा हूँ. then I was so happy. There could be nothing as glorious for a teacher like that. When you will be a teacher, and that was the historic moment of my life. So I thought I must put it publicly. मोबाइल आ चुका था उस समय, 17 की बात है. So all the pictures and put it there. And I also wrote few, आपको लाइन्स मिलेगी, उसमें लिखा है कि सूर्य चंद्र दिशाओं और अपने छात्रों को साक्षी रखकर, दैट मीन्स आई एम विटनेसिंग, आई एम प्रोक्लेमिंग that 22 out of 22 questions are from my class notes. These are the pictures. And I request the students to comment and to verify. ये लिख दिया वहाँ कि आपसे रिक्वेस्ट करता हूँ कि अगर मैं गलत बोल रहा हूँ तो तुम इसको लिख देना कि गुरुजी गलत लिखा है. You will find thousands of comments. Thousands मैं कह रहा हूँ. Thousands of comments where all the students verified, yes, Guruji, you are true. So thousands cannot be my agent. आप कहोगे नहीं, thousand तुम्हारा एजेंट है? नहीं. So nothing can be. That is a publicly. That is a public thing. So remember, and means maybe, I don't say that all, but most of the questions will be from class notes. So what is the first thing that you have to rely on? That is the class notes. Because none of the book is polity. Books are constitution, remember. M. Lakshmikant पढ़ते हो, that is constitution. That is constitution. और उसको verify करना जो मैंने बोला है. So first thing is class notes. And I take whole and sole responsibility of my class notes, not any other matter. मैं फिर कह रहा हूँ, printed etc. That is not prepared by me. This is 100% authentic. इसको कोई, if somebody puts a question mark on this, जो आगे मैं बनवाऊंगा इतना मोटा dictate करके, if somebody puts a question mark on any concept, I will leave teaching. एक दो factual errors sometimes, pronunciation that way, but conceptual mistake no. So what will be the first source? Class notes. Then what shall be the second? One of the books you have to go through. And there, of course, among the books on constitution, polity पे तो कोई book है ही नहीं. So the basic book that you can go through is M. Lakshmikant. Indian Polity. M. Lakshmikant. NCERT etc. are not relevant. In political science, if somebody wants to go तो एक NCERT देख लेना, Indian Constitution at Work. Not all NCERT, but 12th की एक NCERT है, Indian Constitution at Work. But these two are sufficient. And if you even want to skip, then you can skip this also. I am saying. You will read this 10 times, you will remember this, and 80 to 90% questions will be covered from this. Why? Because you know I will be covering such issues like whether reservation is a fundamental right or not. Internet as a fundamental right. Prashant Bhushan case. Contempt, so such current, so obviously questions come from there. So only book that if you want to go through, then M. Lakshmikant. And primarily you have to focus on the class notes. As some doubts I will take. Ashankit is writing, I am a first year student, graduation, I go only your notes sir because I like your teaching method. That is sufficient dear. That is sufficient my brother, my child. That is enough and I cannot deceive you. So of course, जिन्होंने पढ़ा है, so they know. And I say the 4 days, give me 4 days. 4 days you will find the difference that whether I am teaching constitution or whether I am teaching constitution and polity. Yes, for governance also Lakshmikant, but you know that governance is also applied. The current issues भी आना चाहिए. That is a very important thing. So I think from tomorrow I will start the topic systematically. Let me see some YouTube comments also. दिल्ली पुलिस स्कैम पर आप कुछ भी बोलेंगे क्या अब स्टार्ट हो गया? पुलिस एग्जाम्स एटसेट्रा दैट आई विल दिस लेक्चर इज बेसिकली फॉर यूपीएससी एंड स्टेट सर्विसेज रिमेंबर. बट ऑफ कोर्स इफ यू क्लाइम ऑन द प्लानिंग टू क्लाइम द स्काई तो छोटी छोटी चीज़ें तो हो ही जाएंगी, तो ऑफ कोर्स दैट विल बी कवर्ड. बट दिस इज प्राइमरली आई हैव टीचिंग सर इन प्रयागराज. वेरी गुड. सिलेबस एसएससी का सिलेबस, कोचिंग कॉन्टैक्ट नंबर. सो कोचिंग कॉन्टैक्ट नंबर यू कैन आस्क फ्रॉम द मैनेजमेंट. बीपीएससी के लिए क्लास कहाँ से करें? सो बीपीएससी 80% इज यूपीएससी सिलेबस, रेस्ट 20% यू कैन कवर फ्रॉम एनीवेयर. व्हाट इज कन्फेडरेशन दैट आई डिस्कस. प्लीज एक्सप्लेन डिफरेंस बिटवीन स्टैट्यूटरी एंड एग्जीक्यूटिव बॉडी. अच्छा, स्टैट्यूटरी बॉडी, those institutions which are formed, which are created by an act of parliament, that is called statutory body. तो जो संसद के कानून से बनता है वो स्टैट्यूटरी बॉडी है. जैसे नेशनल ह्यूमन राइट्स कमीशन, that has been created on the basis of the act एक्ट, संसद ने एक कानून पारित किया, नेशनल ह्यूमन राइट्स कमीशन एक्ट। तो जो पार्लियामेंट के लॉ से बनता है वो है स्टैट्यूटरी बॉडी। एंड एग्जीक्यूटिव बॉडी विच इज क्रिएटेड बाय एन ऑर्डर ऑफ प्रेसिडेंट, जो राष्ट्रपति के आदेश से बनता है वो एग्जीक्यूटिव बॉडी है, लाइक नीति आयोग। नीति आयोग पार्लियामेंट के लॉ से नहीं बना है, इट हैज बीन क्रिएटेड बाय एन ऑर्डर ऑफ प्रेसिडेंट। तो ये दोनों का डिफरेंस है। गवर्नेंस आई विल नॉट बी टीचिंग डियर रोहित। आर्टिकल नो प्रॉब्लम, लेट द क्लास कंटिन्यू। मोस्ट ऑफ द आर्टिकल्स, रेलेवेंट आर्टिकल्स, वो सब आपके दिमाग में घुस जाएगा। 2020 से पहले होगा कोर्स, ऑफ कोर्स अभी स्टार्ट करेंगे, 2 months it will be completed, no problem. This portion, I didn't get to know when 2 hours got done really. Found the most honest and positive teacher, loved the way you teach. Thank you Tanu, thank you, thanks a lot. This boosts my moral. And मैं कह रहा हूँ 4 days, give me 4 days. How to learn articles? Wait. Most of the important articles I will tell you, most of them. So those articles only you have to learn. एक article को याद नहीं करना है, ठीक है? That I will give when. Should we go for Lakshmikant or D.D. Basu? D.D. Basu is the most authentic book, truly speaking. But 2 problems in D.D. Basu. One is the problem of language, very difficult language. And second is the problem that it does not cover the whole syllabus. So therefore, from UPSC perspective, go through M. Lakshmikant. But if somebody actually want to enjoy the constitution and has the grip on language, then must go through D.D. Basu. मैं D.D. Basu पढ़ता हूँ, साल में 2 बार जरूर पढ़ता हूँ, बट आई से दैट इन माई लेक्चर यू विल फाइंड द होल डी.डी. बसु, तो इसलिए विदाउट रीडिंग दैट यू कैन गेट, सो बेटर गो बाय लक्ष्मीकांत. व्हाट इज योर नेम? माई नेम इज डॉक्टर मंजेश कुमार, मुखर्जी नगर में पूछ लेना किसी से. इट्स माई प्लेजर टू हैव ए ग्रेट प्रोफेसर, थैंक्स अ मिलियन टू हैव. थैंक यू अंबिका, थैंक यू. सो आई थिंक शुड वी स्टॉप नाउ, एंड टुमारो 9 o'clock दिस क्लास विल कंटिन्यू 9 to 11. सो टुमारो 9 o'clock 9 AM we will start with the syllabus. First topic से शुरू करेंगे. When you will start offline class very soon, let the government permit, तो मैं आऊँगा ही. How is governance difference from polity? Again, governance are basically policies, programs, etc. And polity is constitution. That is the difference. Governance is based on polity. Greatly influenced by teaching. Thank you for giving. Thank you Rohit. Yes, Vikas, my blessings are always with you. Thank you. NCERT करनी है नहीं? No, you can avoid that. All selected under your guess, surely, and that will be the most happy moment for you when you will be selected. I find the best teacher for Indian Constitution. Thank you Asu. So let us let me see here Facebook. What about D.D. Basu? Just I too, I have encountered with such a genuine teacher. Rohit is writing. Thank you Rohit. So I think now we should end this class. English medium. Of course, no problem, you can go for English medium. And English medium doesn't mean that you have, now let us see, this is a very important thing. How many questions come in prelim 2020 from your notes? Almost all, barring 2 questions or 3 questions. वो जो आधार कार्ड और वो सब था, barring all those questions you will find from my class notes. And if you want to verify, then मुखर्जी नगर में किसी भी इंस्टीट्यूट से मंजेश कुमार का क्लास नोट्स लेकर मिला लेना. एंड एम कुमार्स एकेडमी इज माई यूट्यूब चैनल. एम कुमार्स एकेडमी पे सेम डे, द डे 4th October की बात कर रहा था, 4th October 4 o'clock और 4 o'clock आई गेव द ऑथेंटिक आंसर एंड एक्सप्लेनेशन. तो वहां देख लेना कि 11 बजे वो पेपर खत्म हुआ था. और आई वॉज द फर्स्ट पर्सन, आई हैव दिस जेन्युइन क्लेम, ये भी वेरीफाई कर लें कि 3 दिन 4 दिन के बाद लोगों ने खोज के आंसर निकाला. मैं 2 ही बजे कर देता, बट आई वॉज बिजी इन सम अदर इंस्टीट्यूट. 4 o'clock मेरा वीडियो आ गया मेरे अपने चैनल पर. माई यूट्यूब चैनल इज एम कुमार्स एकेडमी. तो देख लेना, एम कुमार्स एकेडमी पे पूरा एक्सप्लेनेशन मिलेगा और उसमें सब मिलेगा कि कितने क्वेश्चन मेरे नोट से लड़े. तो इसको भी देखना, टाइमिंग भी चेक कर लेना, टाइमिंग चेक कर लेना. मैं बोल रहा हूं 4th October बिफोर 5 PM. सेम डे 4th October को प्री हुआ था. 4th October को आई वॉज द फर्स्ट टीचर, आई have to take this credit, I am the first teacher who gave the genuine explanation, question wise explanation of all the UPSC questions. उसको कोई काट नहीं पाया. बाद के जितने एक्सप्लेनेशन आपको बड़े बड़े टीचर दे रहे, यू सी उसमें कोई भी अगर एक भी मिल जाए, सो दैट इज रिपीटेड बाय ऑल. सो उसको भी देख लेना. दिस इज अगेन नाउ. फिर आप क्योंकि फेंक रहे हो तो चेक कर लो मेरे एम कुमार्स एकेडमी यूट्यूब चैनल है, उस पर जाकर देख लेना, 40 मिनट्स का वीडियो. दैट इज Hindu newspaper enough? Yes, one newspaper is enough. So governance, everything. So let us end this class. और वो देखना दो चीजें जो मैंने बोली है, ये एम कुमार्स वाला तो भी 4 अक्टूबर को मिल जाएगा. एम कुमार्स एकेडमी यूट्यूब चैनल पे आपको एक्सप्लेनेशन मिल जाएगा. यू विल गेट दैट एक्सप्लेनेशन. जो 2020 पॉलिटी का 18 क्वेश्चंस है, उसमें सोर्स भी मैंने बताया कि मेरे क्लास नोट्स के किस पेज से कहां से, सब कुछ उसमें बताया. जरूर देखना. और 4 अक्टूबर को 5 PM से पहले ही वीडियो आ चुका था. एग्जाम 5 PM को खत्म हुआ, बट आप जानते हैं कि वो पेपर पहले ही 11 बजे ही हो गया, तो मेरे पास पेपर पहले ही आ गया एंड आई गिव द एक्सप्लेनेशन. सो ऑन दिस ऐप व्हाट वेयर यू प्रोवाइड क्लास नोट्स आई विल डिक्टेट. रिमेंबर, आई विल डिक्टेट. दैट इज द क्लास नोट्स. तो क्लास नोट्स बनने में 2 months लगेंगे. वो होगा क्लास नोट्स. आई विल डिक्टेट एवरीथिंग. यस, मटेरियल शैल बी प्रोवाइडेड बाय द इंस्टीट्यूट. दैट इज इंस्टीट्यूट्स मैटर. My concern is class notes, that is better than anything else. ये मैं आज claim करता हूँ. This I will be claiming on the last day also, and you will also say yes, this is the best. और वो claim देख लेना. So anyway, let us end today. We are already 10 minutes ahead. I am feeling vibes for good. Yes, yes. So let us meet. कल सबको आना है. Tomorrow 9 AM we are meeting again. कितने बजे? सुबह के 9 बजे. And we will start the topic systematically from tomorrow. Today just I was giving. So thanks everybody and thanks listening to me. सारे comments मैंने देख लिए. So I am ending this class today with the hope that all of you are joining me tomorrow at the same time. Okay, 9 o'clock. Thank you. Stay blessed.